Hello and welcome to the Jackass Express Podcast. The sun is shining, the grass is green, and the best of which is the return of Mr. Walter Tip, Boundbrook III.
Yeah, I'm here.
And today we have a very special guest from the Arctic tundras in the north, Mr. Dan
Doucette.
Mr. Dan. Dan is here with us.
Mr. Dan will work. Hello.
Yes,
we
and
went
of
over
course,
this.
Our resident philosopher, Mr. Jeffrey Mickelson.
Good morning.
Gentlemen, thank you for joining us here today. We have a very special podcast because we actually brought someone in from a different culture than the ones we already have. And as I said before,
let's slow down. Canadian culture and American culture aren't that different.
But if we don't emphasize the differences, then it won't be interesting.
Canada is the 51st state.
It's America's hat.
It's the largest. In that case, it's the largest state.
Oh, God.
Okay.
So as you can see, Brandon's not here to help us split the difference. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, and then we'll get on with our tradition.
All right. I'm from Canada. Yeah. I'm a 29-year-old man. I have 2 kids, and I'm about to be married next month.
Ooh, congratulations.
We did it kind of backwards, but, I was like, after 11 years, I guess maybe we should probably do it.
Mm-hmm.
Currently unemployed, like that really matters, but it affords me the time to sit here and talk to you guys,
So the only reason you're talking to us is because you're unemployed. Thank you, Dan.
Well, not the only reason, but it allows me more time to do so.
Or
How do you feel about killing chicken?
I mean, it's necessary, right?
Yeah, I got an exciting career opportunity for you.
please don't make Dan lose his soul. Tip, come on. But we were actually. I was telling Jeff earlier that Dan is actually one of the newer members of the Blubberhood Minecraft server on the Rooster Teeth website, and that's how I met Dan. And he had been interested in starting a podcast for them, and I said, we will crush you. But then I said, no, actually, you know what? Come hang out with us. Let's see if you like this sort of thing, and then also you get to meet some of the other guys here that are from different cultures and different backgrounds, and see how it all goes.
Yeah, I was pretty excited.
Mr. Jeff, you spent some time in Germany. Have you ever spent any time in Canada?
Unfortunately, I have never made it up there yet. I've lived in a border state, but I've never made it across that border.
Which border?
With Canada.
No. Which state?
Let's be clear. I was in Idaho, although I was closer to Utah than Canada. So,
did we confuse you, Dan, by saying state instead of province?
No.
Basically, all Idaho.
No. You see, in Canada, we actually learn about the states.
Oh.
I think it was right underneath British Columbia.
Oh, is it that far over? I thought it was like Alberta. Regardless, that's way far away from me. That's where all the cowboys are.
Sounds right.
No, they're all in Texas.
Okay, well, it's the Canadian Texas then.
Oh.
Isn't
they have...
Yes.
In Alberta, they have, in one of the major cities, Calgary.
Mm-hmm.
Probably heard of it. It's been in the news.
Largest gay rodeo?
In Calgary, they have the Calgary Stampede every year. It's a big thing for cowboys and stuff, so it's like a big rodeo.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so most people consider Alberta to be like Canada's Texas. Less guns, though.
Yeah.
You have to have a certain amount of firearms, on your gun rack in your house. In Texas, you're required to have at least one firearm at all times. Right, Tip?
Yep, I'm sitting on one right now.
No,
that
Tip,
can't
please,
be good.
No. Not that. He's talking about something else. No.
Look, too much information.
Well, it's it's weird because even Brendan told us, and Brendan, if you guys remember, is our friend from Australia who says that there is actually a version of a Texan in Australia.
They're called Rangers, and we were talking about the hierarchy of hillbillies at the time, and we weren't talking about Texans. We were talking about hillbillies.
About hillbillies, okay. Well, it's so interesting how each continent seems to have a very similar type of personality no matter where you go.
Country.
I said no continent because Australia is a different continent. Please
But Canada is on the same continent as us.
I know, but I was referencing Australia.
He's got a point.
Anyway, but it makes me wonder. I mean, Dan, how many of the typical Canadian stereotypes are like annoying to you at this point? Like, is it
annoying to me? It's like, well, I can put this into perspective with reality TV, which is kind of a bad example, but so recently Canada has followed suit with the Big Brother thing, right? If any of you ever seen that show.
Yeah.
So we have a Big Brother Canada now. And I was pretty excited because I watched the American one, so I started watching the Canadian one. And season 1 kind of bugged me a little bit because, like,
it was real boring and everyone was polite.
No, it wasn't as bad as the American one with like fighting and shit. But what bothered me was in all the challenges and stuff, they're all just cramming as much stereotype in as you can. Like, there'd be something where you have to hold onto a pole as long as you can, but the pole is shaped like a tree, and you're all dressed like lumberjacks, and there's syrup pots. And
that sounds like a stereotype for Vermont.
It's so bad like that. So it's like shit like that where, we're all lumberjacks and we drink syrup and live in an igloo. That shit annoys me, but I just kind of let it slide. Like, I don't let it ruin my life.
What did you get a lot of people, like, especially being on Rooster Teeth? You get a lot of people that want you to say A.
No, that's one of those things. It's like, depending on where you're from, you generally don't say it a lot. Like, I do because this is where I grew up. It's just the region of Ontario where it just happens a lot. So I tend to say it more than a lot of people. But like a lot of people out west, and even to a lesser degree, people in the East Coast as well, they don't really use it as much.
I would assume it's very similar to how if people think that you're from Texas, they assume you say howdy as a part of your vocabulary.
I do say howdy.
Yeah, there's stuff like that.
And it's very culture dependent. I mean, are you from that area? Are you from someplace that just is aware of the dynamic but doesn't really follow it? You know
well,
what I mean?
I can understand exactly where Dan's coming from, where, different parts of the state, or in his case, country, say different things. I've never lived anywhere other than Texas. I've always lived in Texas. But according to everyone that I work with at this moment in time, I might as well have been born in Mexico.
Well, because of what? Your diet or the stuff you eat?
Well, because I'm from El Paso, and that's apparently in Mexico, and I didn't know it.
Mexico?
Ah, okay.
Well, I mean, it's a salsa, right?
I thought that was annexed a few years ago.
Yeah, salsa, all sorts of things.
So, it's salsa, therefore tacos, therefore Mexico.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, Jeff, I mean, did you have that problem with, like, stereotyping from your cultures?
Yeah, because I love potatoes, and, no, like,
so
80 ways.
So you're Irish?
Yes, exactly.
All right.
He's Irish, and he lives in Idaho. It's match made in heaven.
It is. It is.
Mm-hmm. You got to watch out for the poison potato.
But we don't really get out much from our area, so other than that, there's not many stereotypes. And there's no reason anybody would ever want to visit there because it's a horrible place, and there's not enough people.
Idaho? What's wrong with Idaho?
Nothing, but we don't want people to come and visit.
Oh, they're all very angry people that want people to leave.
They also don't know what color to make the grass for football fields.
Are you talking about Are you talking about the Smurf turf?
Yes, I'm talking about Boise State.
Oh God, yeah, Boise State and their Smurf turf it's a little bit hard to watch TV when the football field is covered in bright blue, and then it blends in so well.
When the football field's bright blue and they're wearing blue uniforms, come on, that's cheating.
That sounds like strategy to me.
Yeah, that's a good strategy.
So I'm gonna show you guys a picture of my living room, just to prove that I'm from Texas.
Do you have a burrow in the corner?
No,
okay.
That's Mexico, dude.
Oh, that's right.
Now,
okay, I am very fond of burros. Matter of fact, that's our logo. Tip, I'm not getting your picture. I'm gonna have to ask you to send it for the LinkedIn.
Yeah, I don't know what it's doing. It's waiting.
It's okay. Can you describe the picture to us?
Well, yes, I can. Let me just look at it.
You don't know what your living room looks like?
Because it's not really my living room. It's not really my living room. It's just something I thought would make me look cool and tough. It looks as if there's 2 bookshelves, and underneath the bookshelves are guns that are attached to the bookshelves, but on top of the bookshelves is a whole bunch of pansy-ass shit, and I'm glad I clarified that this isn't really my living room, because I don't have blue flowers or a picture of Anne Frank. I just thought the
Oh God.
the guns were cool.
Tip, please. Why? Of course, we are very big fans of the Anne Frank diaries.
I'm not.
So, Jeff, how was living in Germany and your oppressive rule?
That was great.
I'm just kidding. Jeff, from the small time that you spent on that one Minecraft server that we had gone to, what were your impressions of it?
That everybody there was really good at making things with square blocks.
You know, I think the one thing that we're always worried about whenever we get new people in there is whether or not they understand that we're just kind of like, not a free-for-all, but we're not very structured. We're not very serious type of people. We tend to just kind of goof around and make sure that, you know, it's all fun and games. But, Dan, do you feel like that's the type of impression you got when you joined?
Yeah, I mean, when I first jumped on, first of all, I think you were the first person I met, if not Harry.
God help you.
No, it was... Ellie, whatever. She was the first one, and then I met Harry, and he killed me, as is normal. But yeah, I mean, there wasn't, other than the weekly Let's Plays, there wasn't like anything that says like you have to do this and stick within this guideline. It was kind of like, yeah, go find a plot of land and do whatever. So it was pretty.
Yep. That's the type of dynamic we go for, because, and for people who wonder why the thing with Harry is so commonplace, what it is that we've had this thing in the past where we've invited people, Harry kills them one time, and then they freak out and they never come back. And to be honest with you, those are the type of people we want to keep away from because they don't understand the joke.
Do you want to keep away from Harry, or?
No, we're trying to keep people away from the server that can't handle being killed for no reason.
I don't remember if I was killed or not.
Aw, Jeff, but you know what? You didn't come in the traditional way. I just had invited you.
Yeah.
We'll get you in there.
That was the dark time when all I did was take care of a baby and sleep. I was exhausted anyway, so.
So okay, the picture of the living room is now in the JEE podcast.
Oh.
Well, you guys are boring.
Yeah, I know, dude.
Thanks.
Brandon,
Hey, Brandon,
I'd like to introduce you to our Canadian friend Dan Ducept.
Hello.
Hi.
I think he actually got your name right too. Much better than Patrick.
It was close.
Mine was an attempt out of good faith.
Especially considering you asked me before we started recording and you got it right then, and then you screwed it up.
I have a short-term memory.
You know, it's all right.
I don't know why you have to poke fun at me.
Pat, please.
Well, maybe we don't want you on this cast if you can't take someone poking fun at you for no reason.
Well, that's pretty much true. Or you can't be off of this cast and expect them not to poke fun at you.
It works both ways. You're screwed
Yeah.
either way, Dan. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's all right. I can take it.
Okay.
Speaking of poking for fun, we have Brandon here now.
Speaking
Right.
of poking for fun, this is the perfect segue into the product I just found. It's a
Oh no.
Oh God.
selfie vibrator.
Okay.
What?
Yeah, it was on dudeiwantthat.com. It's a vibrator with an HD camera, and I don't know why you would want it.
Yeah. No.
We should ask Chase because I think he owns like 4 of them, doesn't he?
But yeah, it's just kind of, he might. But yeah, I found this selfie vibrator thing, and it just, the ad is so prominent on a website for things that you want to buy. I mean, it's called Dude I Want That, and it's kind of like, well, I don't really want that, but I have.
Are you
to
sure you weren't? Are you sure you weren't on like a gynecology supply site or something?
It's dudeiwantthat.com. It was submitted March 8th, 2015. There's a video. There's a YouTube video.
Oh God.
I thought YouTube
Well,
banned those sort of things.
Yeah, at least it's YouTube, so you know it's marginally acceptable.
And the girl, I'm watching the video now. It's from a company called Love Honey.
This is not making it any better.
It just keeps getting worse. Right? No, Tip, I'm proud of you, man. You stick to your guns. That's what's
Can
important.
you guys hear this?
I don't want to hear it.
It's
No.
4 inches.
Thankfully,
It's
no.
made from. It's got a.
I want to go to heaven. But I mean, if you think about it, nowadays, if you add a small camera / HD TV to anything, you could probably make a lot of money. Like, take a selfie of yourself drinking a cup of
Hold
coffee.
on.
just
She
add
said
a
it was
little-
compatible with something. I couldn't hear anything. So
I'm sure it's compatible with a lot of things too.
she's
I mean,
gonna
my
put it in a
question
fish tank.
becomes-
She's
Oh,
gonna
God.
put it in a fish tank.
When I heard like the selfie stick thing came out, I was like, that's probably the stupidest fucking thing we could ever invent. And then that.
Yes.
So like,
well,
where is it gonna stop?
it's
you know?
not going to stop. I don't think it's going to stop. I think it's going to be like have the live streaming video from the coffin is going to be the next step. I mean,
I think
really,
they already
we're-
sort of have that. I mean, it's not
See?
live streaming, but there's a setup you can get where there's a camera inside the casket and it broadcasts to a TV in the headstone.
And then that way, your kids can come and draw pictures on grandma while
And watch
visiting
her slowly decay.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's for science, of course.
Well,
Brett-
there is a environmental group that'll make you into compost.
There's all sorts of stuff like that popping up too. It's like, we can make you into compost. We can turn you into a tree. We can make you into a diamond.
Wait, a diamond, really?
Yeah. Or
I wanna-
there's another one for fireworks too. They'll turn you into a firework.
All right, Tip, I need you to sign a document stating we can turn you into a firework.
Why would I need to sign it if I'm just going to agree to it right now? We got recorded.
No, because it won't hold up in court, damn it. So I need you to sign it right now.
If it holds up for jihadis, it'll hold up for us. I'm going to be dead.
Jeff, I mean, this is going to be very random. What is your preferred style of, I guess, waste disposal for yourself? I mean, do you want to just be very traditionally, or do you have something special in mind?
Well, I hadn't given it much thought because hopefully I won't have to worry about that for a long time. But it would be cool to go the Gene Roddenberry route and get blasted off into space.
Ooh, very good choice.
That'd
sir.
be all
Very
right,
good.
yeah.
Yeah.
What if aliens are able to somehow bring you back to life? And so instead of dying, you end up on an alien planet with a whole new species.
That'd be awesome.
Wouldn't it? I mean, it'd be like, you guys have the internet. This is like the supernet. This is even better. It teleports you places. And instead of like paying for stuff online and it showing up later, you just reach through the screen and grab it like in Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
Oh man, that wouldn't be good.
No? Oh, well, yeah, I
No.
guess that's true.
I mean, just because as somebody who wouldn't have been born into that and used to seeing that sort of thing, as the consumers that we've become on Earth, being able to reach through a screen and grab something, that wouldn't be good for anybody.
No,
Well,
no.
Nope.
That would...
It'd be like a newscast where you see all these hands reaching through the camera.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm pretty sure Tip would have grabbed one of those fucking vibrator camera things.
He certainly would have.
Yeah.
That's assuming that he hasn't already purchased one and he's just justifying it.
That's
It's
true.
science. It's science.
I see where this is going. Now I gotta wait for you guys to say something stupid.
So, Brandon, how was your week, buddy?
Good. Busier than it should have been. I'm finishing up this homework and crap for one of the last classes for the degree.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
Yes.
What are you studying for?
It's the Master's in Leadership.
Oh, that's awesome.
You know what?
That's
So-
I don't need a degree for that because I have somehow managed to get 62 people through the day without killing themselves.
Is there a particular type of career choice or something you're going for, or is that just going to supplement your current career, Brandon?
Mostly that's just filling the block so that I can have a master's degree and keep going. But it's also because I like the idea of nonprofit leadership afterwards. So,
Non-profit leader.
Yeah.
What are you doing with the podcast, Brandon?
well, this is nonprofit. This is pretty much nonprofit.
Just because we don't make money doesn't mean we don't want it.
What he's saying is, if we actually do make money someday, he doesn't want any of it. So it's just more.
We
for
don't
the
have
rest
to
of us.
pay him. I got it.
I believe what Brandon's referring to for our case would be a not-for-profit. But he learns how to lead people for free so that way he can put up with jackasses like us.
Fact.
And we don't have to pay
By
him.
the way, Dan, Brandon's actually stationed right now in Germany with the Air Force, and he's in charge of. You're still giving lectures and teaching classes, right, Brandon?
I do give some, yeah. I just did it actually this week. Cool. But go on.
He's basically the person who helps me kind of come up with different topics and concepts to help keep our podcast together and give the illusion of us being professionals, which I believe we've broken the illusion 25 million times by now.
Well, yeah, I just spent 10 minutes talking about a selfie dildo.
I'm pretty sure all dildos are selfie dildos, if you really think about it.
Yeah,
That's
but
true.
this one takes pictures.
So strange.
The selfie stick, going back to that, was actually patented in 1983.
What?
Why? Why?
Really?
Huh?
Yeah, it was...
Jeff, explain.
How?
Ironically, I went to BBC while we were talking, and they had an article on the selfie stick. So the timing is interesting, but apparently some guy had his camera stolen while he was in Europe. And he worked for Minolta in Japan and went back and patented a selfie stick for one of those really old, big cameras.
Couldn't you also make the argument that a dildo is a selfie stick?
I think Brandon just tried to
Yes.
make
Yeah,
that
he did.
argument.
You're
Oh,
a
you
few
did?
minutes
Yeah.
late on that one.
Someone's
I'm
not paying
trying.
attention.
I am actively participating in what I listen to. That's what I'm doing.
How the selfie
You
stick?
clearly need more coffee.
Yes, it is, and I found my second cup.
I thought. Oh, you know how the selfie stick was invented twice? Because this Hiroshi Ueda called it an extender stick, not a selfie stick.
And the patent ran out in 2003. I didn't get to that before Pat cut me off.
Oh.
Oh, I'm sorry. I honestly was trying to make a joke last time.
Did you know the guy from
Cheers.
GoPro makes $235 million a year?
I'm not surprised.
Son of a bitch.
The technology to put a camera on something that's small, and then like the idea that he knew people were going to put it like on eagles and let the thing fly around, and it was going to get like 20 billion views on
I'm
YouTube.
pretty sure you get arrested if you put it on an eagle.
But people have done it. I don't know if maybe they, like falconers or whatever, they get the dumb bird and then they wrap it around its head and then it just goes flying. And then you go to YouTube and there's literally like more views on that than Gangnam Style just of a dumb bird.
Are
flying
you
around.
thinking about drones and the U.S. putting cameras on drones and killing people?
No, sir. I'll see if I can find it right now.
I've seen something like that before. It was like a camera on some sort of bird. Anyway, I don't know if it's an eagle, but I've seen it.
I'll see if I can locate this. But I saw someone using a selfie stick over at the Chihuahuas game.
I've never
And-
seen a selfie stick.
They were using it, and it was like them and their group of friends. And I was like, I'm surprised they let them bring that in because it almost looks like a.
God,
Like a
only in Mexico.
No, man. Every single corner in Rome, there's a dude selling selfie sticks.
Well,
I mean, it's ridiculous.
Italy is Europe's Mexico.
I'm pretty sure that's Spain.
No, because people want to go to Spain.
So for our listeners in Spain, welcome to the Jackass Express. Is there? I mean, what context what do you mean? Why is it like that? Just because they sell the selfie sticks?
I don't
Or
know.
is there-
They're all over the place, though.
Just because I got on a tangent and I needed to make myself feel better.
Yeah. Okay. Look, I found the Golden Eagle point of view flight in 2.7K.
I think
Oh,
I'd like to
that's a
see a
good joke.
pigeon with a GoPro. See how many times it shits.
No, because you would break your GoPro because it would immediately slam into the first window it found.
So
That's
my
possible.
guys, when I told them I was leaving the company, they made like this big meal and I had to eat with them. And you know, my workers are Nepali, Thai, Burmese, and Bhutanese. And I'm pretty sure.
I hate it when people make food for me.
I'm pretty sure I ate pigeon.
How does pigeon taste?
Not all that different from chicken. Yeah. But I'm just saying this was a lot of food, and I know how much they make. So either they aren't eating for a week, or they've supplemented their income.
It's got to be very interesting working in poultry preparation because you have to know the ins and outs of almost all the dirty secrets that go out in terms of making like chicken nuggets and making chicken tenders. And then so you've given us advice to stay away from certain.
Well, a chicken tender, you just cut the chicken breast off and the tenderloins underneath it. You could learn that at any butchering class.
Oh no, what
They
I
don't.
mean more
They
is-
don't come fried, Pat. I'm sorry, they don't come breaded and fried, but
You lied to me. You destroyed my dream. Anyway, but is that a? I mean, do you have to be real careful? Do they make you like say, okay, don't mention that you can't eat the chicken nuggets at Burger King or something?
Why wouldn't you be able to eat the chicken nuggets at Burger King?
Well, because you've given me several instances in which it'd be best, not saying Burger King specifically. I want to disclose I'm not speaking about Burger King specifically, but
are you mad because now they're a French company?
Yes.
What do you mean they're a French company?
Canadian. I'm sorry. Canada, France.
Yeah, they
French,
bought Tim Hortons.
Canadian.
I was pissed.
Yeah. But
wow.
Because if there's one stereotype that I don't mind as being Canadian, to go back to stereotypes, is that we love Tim Hortons coffee. But when I heard they were being bought by Burger King, I was like, how? What? It didn't even make sense. Like, why would a burger chain buy a coffee store?
To avoid taxes.
Wow. Isn't that just primarily an American thing, though?
Well, there was an American company that bought a Canadian company so it could become Canadian. It's kind of like when a lady comes from another country and marries an American. Let's say a German marries an American for a green card.
Okay.
It's the same concept. She wants to be a citizen, and so she picked herself up a nice U.S. major in the Air Force, and now she's a citizen.
It's an
Did you
oddly
just promote
specific
me?
story.
I think you just promoted me, Jeff.
I think so.
Well, if you say it on here, it's got to be true. So
Someone needs to tell Congress. I'd like that
I
money.
will write my congressman right now. I mean, they aren't going to listen to me. I'm from Texas. We have open carry. Well, maybe they might listen to me now that we have open carry, but...
Dan, how does that make you feel that we might have open carry on college campuses in Texas pretty soon?
What the hell does that mean?
It means, what's his name? The guy from Looney Tunes? Not Wile E. Coyote, but
Yosemite Sam?
Yosemite Sam, how he has the 2 guns.
Yeah.
That's going to be reality in Texas.
No, I think it's more like
shit,
Elmer
really?
Fudd.
Yeah.
Elmer Fudd, yeah, that'd probably be more accurate. What it is that, and we're so... people of Texas are more so adverse to these strict gun regulations that now they're creating laws that as long as it's, visible or it doesn't have to be concealed anymore. You can visibly carry around a firearm with you on college campuses, and the theory is that it's going to help counteract, these school shootings, because if you have a whole, militia of students carrying firearms, that it discourages.
Just because one carries a gun doesn't make them a militia.
I don't feel like I've heard a big problem about Texas campuses being afflicted by shootings anyway.
No.
It's because Texans had conceal and carry for a long time, and everyone knew that they were carrying guns.
I know that most other countries in the United States have a real big problem with
other countries
gun
in the
issues.
United States.
No, other countries than the United States. I may have misspoke, but they have a real problem with firearms being a readily attainable thing in the United States. And I don't know, what is the perspective of that from Canada, Dan? I know you've spoken with the Prime Minister.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I do live in the capital, so it's, I could drive to his house if I wanted to. But I don't know, like gun regulation to me, I don't use guns. I think I've shot a gun twice. I'm not a big hunter or anything like that, so the whole argument kind of loses itself on me because I don't care.
No, that's fine.
Because it doesn't affect me, right? But I mean, I've got hunters in my family that when they tried a few years ago, I think it was something about registering hunting rifles or something like that. There was a big kerfluffle about it. And my uncles were all pissed off and losing their shit because they were going to have to register all their stuff. And I was like, what's the big deal? Just fill out the freaking paperwork. So it's kind of lost on me because I don't.
Yeah, no, and I was just curious because it is a big issue in Texas where I feel like people feel like somehow it's a violation of their rights to register their firearms. In my opinion, as long as you're open and honest about it, what's the problem? You don't have to worry about them taking it away, but you have to register that you have the firearm.
Living in Central Texas, I have learned what the problem is.
What is the problem, Tip?
Let me get into character here.
Oh, God. Dildos that can take selfies. That's the problem. Go on.
The government's going to come take our belongings.
Oh, Hey, Brandon, do you feel like this is something as a person from Texas, do you feel like people in Texas can handle firearms on a regular basis?
Yeah, probably for the most part, but that's because that's the way the country was brought up, and that's the way it was founded, so it's not really out of place to think about it. Here, though, they don't have them. I mean, you got to have, like, very, very good reason to have it, and it's usually if you're a hunter, and there's not really much to hunt here anyway.
What about a collector?
But
I mean, collectors...
They don't exist here. But I'll tell you what, I just started collecting as of last week. No, well, I mean, I got those, but no, I just got a Beretta airsoft gun.
Oh, I know what that is.
Reason being, I can't stand the goddamn birds out here. Normally, I would just pop them off with a pellet rifle or a 22 or something in Texas. But they're starting to get out and shit on my balcony, and they're waking us up in the mornings, and I'm losing my mind. And the closest thing to a gun I can get here is an airsoft. So I bought a what appears to be a 9mm Beretta, and at a glance, you wouldn't know it's not, because out here, nobody has real guns. So they don't even paint the tip orange, because nobody expects you to have a real gun anyway.
So you're saying this argument in America where they say you have to make toy guns look not real is bullshit, because in other countries they don't do that and no one gets shot?
Yeah, inadvertently, I guess I did just say that. So there's no guns here anyway, so if someone's holding one, they know it's probably fake.
To a degree, that's true. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think toy guns here have to, like, have a tip that's painted orange or anything. Like, I don't believe that's a regulation, but even if it is, it's only a regulation because the U.S. has made it a regulation.
Well, I
Yeah.
don't know if it's actually regulation or not. I just know every time a kid gets shot, it's, oh, we got to make these guns look less real.
But then they get in, like, these kids in trouble for making a Pop-Tart look like a gun and pretending to fire it at their schoolmates. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there is that too. Have you guys seen the there was a video that went on Facebook the other day that I saw. It was an 18-year-old kid. He's developing a technology for, like, fingerprint gun. So it's like it's got a sensor on it when you grab the grip that's only registered to your fingerprint. So if somebody else tries to use your gun, it doesn't work.
I think I saw that in Blade.
I've heard of
Didn't
that.
he have a sword like that?
Yeah.
No. It's a.
Well, what's the name of Thor's
sounds
hammer?
screwed up.
Because Thor's hammer can only be used by Thor.
Mjolnir or something.
Yeah.
Brendan, you
That's true.
saw that in one of the more recent James Bond movies. I think
No,
he
it was in
had
Blade. Definitely Blade. Vampire hunting Wesley Snipes.
Although Jeff is right, there is one like that in James Bond. I'm
Yeah, I agree.
pretty sure that's where it's from.
I that too.
He was in the pit with the big lizards, and the guy grabbed his gun and.
Oh,
I
yeah,
remember
right.
that.
Yeah.
Now, since we're on the subject of firearms, the next logical topic for us to talk about is drinking.
Okay.
So,
Naturally.
Dan, as our tradition here on the podcast, we always discuss what our first experience with alcohol was like. We always used to say our 21st birthday, but then we realized the age restrictions in different countries are different. So,
Right.
what was your first experience with drink like?
Like in life or like as
In life, yeah.
as a legal drinker.
Wait a minute. As a legal drinker.
As a legal drinker, well,
Or anything. It doesn't
so there's a screwed up thing in Canada where we say our legal drinking age is 19, but that's only true every second province. Every other province is 18.
matter. Huh.
Yeah.
Now, how do you calculate what the second province is? Like from the ocean?
I mean, yeah, I don't know. I just know that Ontario's 19, but both Manitoba to our left and Quebec to our right are 18.
Well, that's because you live in the wrong province.
Yeah. I mean, I'm close to it now, but anyway, when I turned 19, I just moved here to the capital, to Ottawa, and it's about, I mean, you can get to Quebec in about 5 minutes
Oh, okay.
down the highway. But on my 19th birthday, my uncle got married in Montreal, which is in
Nice.
Quebec. Legal drinking age is 18. So I ended up going to Montreal, and there was a problem with my uncle. His wife-to-be was kind of being a psycho, and turned out to be true. She was having problems with my girlfriend at the time.
Ouch.
She didn't know her. She never met her, but she was like, she's not coming because I don't know her, which was kind of stupid. So we ended up on my 19th birthday, just my girlfriend and I, walking down the street in Montreal, just popping into a bar have a couple drinks, pop into another bar, have a couple drinks. And we got pretty loaded and just walked back. There was nothing really exciting about it.
And
other than I did piss off a bartender.
Judging by this story, that you said you were 19 when it happened. You've been with your girlfriend for 11 years. So either your uncle's crazy wife isn't still around, or
That's
you
right.
just see context clues. The second context clue is this where your first kid came from?
It's the same woman, not the same time.
Tip, you're so subtle. Why? Please. How did you piss off the bartender on your first?
Well, because I drank a
Oh,
lot
boy.
when I was a teenager, but I've never gone to a bar, obviously, because I wasn't legal to get served. So I didn't know that. I don't know if it's a thing in the States, but I just assume like in movies and stuff, you can go in, order a drink, and just sit down, and they'll bring you your drink and shit, and you don't have to pay for it till you leave. Apparently that's not true. So I ordered my drink, and then I grabbed it, and I went to leave, and she was like, "Hey, what the fuck are you doing?" I was like, "I'm just going to sit down with my." No, and she, like, I speak French, but she was talking way too fast. Like sometimes, if they talk too fast, I can't understand them.
Well, Canadian French and regular French aren't the same.
Yeah, well, yeah, and Quebec French is way different than Canadian French as well, because they throw in a lot more slang and shit. So I don't know. I ended up trying to, like, I was trying to tell her, like, relax, I don't understand you. But all she wanted was like, no, you have to pay. So there was a guy beside me that spoke English, and he was like, "She's telling you have to pay for your drink." And I'm like, "Oh, I'm sorry, my first time. Like, look at my ID. I'm only 19 today. I've never done this before." But yeah, she got pretty mad at me, and so I ended up only staying for one drink.
You showed the guy your ID, saying you'd never done that before because you're 19, but you're clearly in a state where the drinking age is 18.
Yeah. Well, again, I've
you've
never gone to a bar before, so
Oh yeah, I
It's
can
true,
understand
yeah.
that.
you know.
But you know what's weird is that in bars, I thought they always opened the tab and then they just held on to your credit card or your whatever, and then they would, like you said, they just billed you when you were ready to cash out because you had to go back get your.
I know there's bars here in Ottawa that do that, where you can do that. You can just drop a credit card and it'll open a tab. But being that I'd never gone to a bar before and she didn't speak English at all, it just, I don't know, it's kind of mad. So I pissed her
That
off. But
story
whatever.
could have gone a completely different direction with that. I've never been to a bar and she didn't speak English. I think I'm gonna have to write something down.
Oh God! You know what's
I look
really
forward
cool
to it.
is in El Paso we have this one place called Hoppy Monk, and they take your or at least the last time I was there, they take your credit card and they take your driver's license. And they hold on to it, which I think is pretty smart because then if somebody comes back when they're ready to cash out, you can tell they're completely plastered.
Yeah, that's
you can
true.
give them back
Well,
their credit card.
not
but-
only that, Pat. I mean, sure, it seems really noble, but there are things called drop cards. It's when you have a maxed out credit card that just has enough for them to open the tab, and you have no intention of paying anything else off, so you get fucking wasted. And then they go to run your credit card, and it says decline, but you've already taken off.
Ah.
Oh, Tip. Why give people these ideas? We do not endorse this idea.
I'm just telling you why they do it.
Potential sponsors, Visa, MasterCard, please.
I'm just telling you why they do it. I'm not saying I
that's why-
endorse it, but that's,
Yeah, that's why it would make sense to take your ID, because then they have your address and all that crap when you default on it.
yeah.
Now, would this be a stolen maxed out credit card? Because otherwise, it would just have your name on it.
Credit cards don't have your address on them, Pat.
Yeah, but it has your name.
How many
And
times
if
have you taken payment for my insurance? And we've gone through it. You ask for my credit card number, the expiration date, the numbers on the back. Do you ever ask me my address?
Well, now I have to put that in the link dump, your credit card information, Tip.
Well, go ahead. They're maxed out anyways.
No, Tip.
I have a spending problem.
No, you don't. Now well, maybe you do. Who knows? That'd be more interesting.
I just
You have a
bought
spending problem. This is actually an intervention.
I just bought a selfie dildo.
That sounds like an investment more than anything else. Now, that's the one thing that you purchased that I won't require you to make a video out of. That
Please.
You need to keep that to yourself.
Damn.
But
He was
I mean,
really
listen-
looking forward to making that video.
what if you don't? What if you're not able to go back to that bar then? I mean, you lose all access to that place.
No,
Because they'll recognize you, wouldn't they?
no, they
Well, I
don't.
mean, realistically, though, if you're going to do something like that, you're probably a piece of shit anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And bartenders don't typically work at the same bar for very long. So you just wait a couple months when they've replaced the crew and there you go.
Well, very cool. Very cool. Well, then, yes, you are officially now one of the guest hosts here on the Jackass Express because that's our tradition.
Hey.
Brandon's experience was a little bit different, and I think, I can't remember, but I literally can't remember because Brandon took me out for my 21st birthday with Tip and Julian.
No, Chase.
Was it Chase?
Maybe it was Julian.
As you can see,
they were all there.
all I remember is that the next morning, Brandon and Chase brought me and Johnny charcoal pills because it was not very organized, and it was my first experience with alcohol too. And I made the key mistake of not texting my then girlfriend that I was at home and that I was safe.
Yeah.
And I'll say after
Don't worry, guys. He married her, so.
after 5 years of marriage though, she still hasn't let it go. So anytime I ever go out to have a beer with actually I'm going to be heading out with my family pretty soon or whatever, I always get that, well, remember that time when you didn't call me.
You make sure you fucking text me.
If you don't text me that you're alive, I'll kill you.
See,
Okay.
I have the opposite problem when I drink. So I'll get shit-faced. And then I'm also taking anti-anxiety medication, so I don't remember being shit-faced.
Oh, Tip, please.
And I have this friend, and, love her to death. She's one of my best friends, and when I drink and I get shit-faced, I call her. And then she gets mad at me because...
well,
I say
it's a good thing that you have someone though to go grab that's for free that will let you get a ride home.
she lives in Dallas, and I live in San Antonio.
She drives from Dallas to go pick you up because you're drunk.
Yeah,
Why don't you just call a taxi cab?
She loves me.
Uh-huh.
All right.
Have you told her this, that she loves you, or is this something? I'm just kidding.
No, I haven't broken the news to her yet, but I figured it out.
Brandon, is there what's your go-to thing when you can't get home from the bar, or do you just kind of moderately, or do you never get that heavy again?
It's been a long time.
Because you're not in El Paso with us, that's why.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember, honestly. I just don't get that way anymore.
Well, his Skype picture is him singing karaoke.
Well, I don't have to be drinking for that. That's just normal.
Nice.
I don't know. It's just a cab, I guess. That's probably the go-to way.
Jeff, is that what you do? Just cabs, or they got this thing called Uber now, but I don't want to try it. I know it's mostly...
Uber is fantastic. Let me tell you
Have
guys
you used
about
it?
my first Uber experience.
Oh God, sorry, Jeff.
So
I'm so sorry.
I go up to see my cousin in Plano, and we're hanging out, and we're getting ready to go out. We're going to this place called Public House in Addison, and he says, "Well, look, let me get a car." I thought, "Well, fucker, you got a car." And so he goes on Uber, and he can pick what car you want. And we got a BMW X5, and the guy would be there in 10 minutes. So the guy's there, and he opens the door. I felt like some sort of diplomat or something. He opens the car door and everything, gets us in there. And before he shuts the door, he goes, "You guys want a road beer?" And I mean, we had been drinking already, so road beer sounded really good. And he just opens up the trunk of his car and pulls out beer, and we drank on the way to the bar while this guy drove us around. It was fantastic.
I love it. Yes, I can't wait for that, and then also the self-driving car, which you won't have to apparently know where you're going. And they showed the prototype where they're all just facing towards the center, and they're just talking like a business meeting. It's pretty cool.
No, I don't think I want that.
No, not yet.
No.
Who needs all those innocent lives on the road? Let's do it ourselves. Just kidding. All right, guys. I think we should probably go ahead and start wrapping up. Is there any final thoughts, Dan?
No. Thanks for having me, though.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm very happy that you were able to join us today. I know we were kind of a little bit of a late start, but other than that, we did pretty good. Gents, is there anything else you want to talk about?
Okay,
No.
so I got one thing. Sorry,
Oh,
Jeff,
boy.
I cut you off again. When we had Brendan on the cast, I made him say "Good day, mate." So
Oh, God.
now, Dan, being our Canadian correspondent, you got to say something Canadian.
Do you want me to do it in a really thick accent?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, all right, what do you want me to say?
I don't know what a Canadian say.
Not very much different from us, I guess.
No, not really.
How about I'm really sorry about that, eh?
Oh, I'm really sorry about that, eh?
There we
Oh,
go.
God.
Hey! Dan, you're a good sport.
Oh.
We love you, man. Good things. All right, gentlemen,
man.
thank you very much for being on the Jackass Express podcast. Please visit our Facebook page at facebook.com/jackassexpress. And as always, go to our blogspot at jackassexpress.blogspot.com. And you can also download our podcast on the iTunes store. Recently, we have a little Redbubble store at redbubble.com/jackassexpress where you can have the options of choosing between Brandon's Wasted My Life to See the Sistine Chapel shirt, the Texas, the greatest country in the world, and I'm not going to say the other word, and lastly, the very original design by myself, the Jackass Express. We have a t-shirt. Any of those purchases go to help support us and getting Tip a better microphone.
And if you
Thank
go
you.
to gofundme.com/sendtip anywhere, you have the option to send me to Canada or Australia or wherever.
That's what we forgot to talk about.
Can?
Yeah,
Dang it.
We'll get
Next
there.
time.
We'll get there.
Next
We
time,
got a GoFundMe
please.
page. And the other words Pat wasn't going to say were motherfucker.
Oh, thank you, Tip. Again, thank you for joining us, and we will catch you next time.
You should have him say sorry about that at the end.
The Jackass Express!